Hello everybody and welcome to the Compass Support Facebook page. I'm with you today. My name is Kerry Cooper, for those of you who haven't joined before, and we're covering week 4 in our Living Life to the Full training, and today we're learning how to be more confident. So as usual, hello to everybody who's on the live and also hello to everybody who's watching the replay. I'd love to know your questions, comments, like, share, so that we can interact more and we can continue to bring you some really interesting videos that are going to help. If anybody has any questions about our videos or anything that we'll talk about today, then please be sure to send us a message on our Facebook page. So we've had 3 weeks so far of our Living Life to the Full training, and what we've learned is that when we think something, it becomes a feeling, and it might be a physical feeling, or it might be an emotional feeling, or it might be both. And then that affects our behavior. And that's really important because lots of what we've spoken about in the last 3 weeks and today is based on the fact that we can alter the way that we feel by altering our thoughts. So with that in mind, we'll kick off. So last week we looked at how to manage bad thoughts, so spotting them and then how to blast them so that they don't exist anymore and you don't need to think those unpleasant thoughts anymore about yourself. And today we're going to pick up on that again today, and we'll take it a little bit further in terms of how we can all be more confident. So think about times that you have when you think that you're not good enough. And it's not a nice feeling, and the thoughts can be quite destructive. So you might be thinking, I'm a loser, I'm clumsy, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm not very practical, I can't do sports. It could be even things like, oh, I feel so pathetic. Think about how you talk to yourself sometimes negatively, and what do you tell yourself about what you can't do? Because what we want to do today is spot what we're saying to ourselves. So when we're saying that we can't do something or we're not good enough, being able to spot when we're saying that and to challenge it in our minds and replace it with something else that makes us feel and be more confident. So the problem is, because feelings affect behaviours, if we start to believe the bad things we're telling ourselves, and we can start telling ourselves these things that we can't do, that we're not, we can start telling ourselves these things since we were children, since we were old enough to understand what was happening in the world around us. And so these are habits, some of these things are mindsets, and they're really strong beliefs that we hold about ourselves. So it's important to understand that it does take some time to overcome these. However, it's absolutely possible to retrain your brain so you don't think that you're somebody that can't do something. So another thing to know is that confidence isn't something we're born with. Confidence is actually a skill. It's something that we learn, and we learn by watching other people. We learn maybe by personal development. We learn by practicing, by doing things in our lives and understanding, yeah, I can do that well, and then feeling good and being able to do that thing again. It's so much more than something that we're born with. So if you tell yourself, I'm not a confident person, actually, it's not a fixed state. We're not born like that. That doesn't define us. All we need to do is learn how to be confident and then practice it until we can do it, and then we label ourselves as confident. So let's understand that what we're telling ourselves actually isn't real. So, I'm no good, I'm not good at this, I'm hopeless, I can't do this, I can't do that. That's just imaginary. That's what we're telling ourselves in our heads. That's a belief that we've created for ourselves. So we need to challenge that. So think about, and this is our challenge also for this week. So every week what we do is we create a challenge. So after we've done the training, we can put our new skills and learnings into practice. So you can follow along now, and then also you could watch on the replay. And our challenge is to go through this exercise, because this is going to make you realize that actually a lot of the things that you tell yourself about what you can't do, they simply aren't real, and it's so easy to replace them with other beliefs and change our behavior. Because if we change what we're thinking, we change our thoughts, we change how we feel, and then we change our behavior. So the new positive I can do thought changes how we feel. We don't feel bad about ourselves. We don't feel anxious. We don't feel like we need to withdraw or not do something because we just know that we can't do it. Instead, the feelings are going to be good. The feelings are going to be, I can do this. I feel great. I'm ready to tackle this. Or, you know, absolute belief that you're able to do something. And then we know that thoughts affect behavior. So from there, if you believe in what you're doing is you're capable and you're competent, that then translates to a confident behavior. So we can talk in a bit what confidence actually looks like, because we can learn from other people, because confidence is a skill. We'll just follow and copy people who've got good confidence. That's, you know, that's quite easy for us to do. But first of all, let's start with the thoughts, because this is the bit that we really can benefit from. So think about, as we're talking now, think about what you say to yourself about what you can't do. And when you're thinking about that, after this, as part of the challenge to do between this week and the next video, actually it's really good to write this down, because we want proof that you can do these things. So think to yourself now about various different aspects of your life and things that you tell yourself about what you can't do or you're not, and think about them and then write them down. The challenge is to write them down. Okay, so once you've got that in mind, write yourself another list. Write the list of what you can do well, and give as much information as possible, and have a really deep think about this. Spend some time on this, and if you need to, talk to a trusted family member or friend, because they can give you some great insight as to what you're really good at, what you can do. And if you do have a trusted friend and you do have somebody who could perhaps help you even further with this, maybe share with them both of your lists. Show them what you're telling yourself that you can't do, and show them what you're telling yourself that you can do, and ask their perspective. Because if they're a trusted friend, they're going to be honest with you, or a family member, they're going to be honest with you. And it's better evidence and so much reliable when somebody else is giving their feedback on you. And make sure that this person is somebody who's trusted and honest, because you absolutely want to have that viewpoint, because this is going to be your evidence that challenges your negative thoughts that you can't do something, that makes you have a behavior that is not confident. Okay? And you'll be really, really surprised as to how okay you are. And actually, if you think about that list that you've written down about the things that you can do well, then remember what they are. Because from time to time, you might want to give yourself a boost and think, right, I'm going to go back and just review that list again. And perhaps you've got something to add to it because you've learned something else that's really good that you can do. So it's important that you memorize what you can do so that they're at the front of your mind. And this will start to budge out the way those negative thoughts and the can't do. So that's your challenge between this week and actually the next video is going to be in 2 weeks' time. So you're writing your two lists. What do you tell yourself that you can't do? What do you know that you can do? And you've got evidence of this. And then comparing the two. And what you're likely to see is the things that you can't do, actually, it's not true. It's just a belief that you have that you can't do it. But maybe you've never tried to do those things before. Maybe you've just assumed that you can't do them. Maybe you've tried it and you thought you were rubbish, but somebody else was with you and thought you were actually really good. So have a look at those two lists and really learn from them and understand and challenge whether or not the can't do list is actually true. And what we also need to remember too is that nobody is perfect. So the worst thing that we can do to ourselves is try to make ourselves to be someone who's absolutely perfect, because then we start being really hard on ourselves. And that is nearly as bad as telling ourselves that we can't do something. Because when we're telling ourselves we're not perfect and we should be perfect, the mind starts looking for reasons why we're not perfect. And then we get stuck in the vicious cycle again. The vicious cycle of having negative thoughts affecting your feelings emotionally and physically, and then changing your behavior. And in this example, the behavior is unconfident behavior. And that might be shutting yourself away. It might be not being able to go out on certain social events. It might be not feeling like you're not able to give your opinion or speak up. It might be just generally having negative thoughts about yourself due to you thinking that you can't do something. And then that affects your mood and it makes you feel miserable or makes you feel sad. Okay, so what's really important to know is that we want to improve our thoughts to make them more positive, challenge the negative thoughts that aren't true, but we definitely don't want to live up to perfection because that just doesn't exist. And that's a real way of knocking your confidence. So here are some tips on how you can be more confident, because like we say, confidence is absolutely a skill. We're not born with it. We learn it through our lives. And you can start learning at any age. We don't stop learning ever. So here are some tips. So try to speak a little bit louder and clearer. Okay, so that gives the impression to people that you mean what you say and you've got confidence in the words that you're saying. And also another thing to do is to slow down slightly. If you're more of a nervous talker, or maybe if you even talk normally, slowing down sometimes, that gives you the chance, if you slow down and pause, it gives you the chance to rediscover what's going on in your head. So it helps you be more confident and more articulate when you're speaking. So slowing that little bit down and putting some pauses in, giving yourself time to think, giving yourself time to listen and understand what the other person's saying and what's going on around you is also really, really brilliant as a learned behavior to be more confident. Another one is to sit up straight, shoulders back, walk tall, lift your chin up. So all of these behaviors give the impression to other people that you're confident, you're positive, and you're happy, and you can do something. You can do what you need to do. Another thing to do is make as much eye contact with people and smile. So this is really great because it raises the energy. So if you're in a conversation with somebody and you're smiling and you're connecting with their eyes, not only are you making yourself feel good by these behaviors, but you're actually making the other person feel really good. And then that just continues. And then you can end up having a really, really great vibe between you and the person you're talking with or the group of people that you're with. And that's just awesome. Who doesn't want that? And who doesn't want positive friends and positive outlook? You're going to attract more people to you. What you'll find is once you start changing your behavior to being more confident, then it really, really maximizes the cycle. So you're learning to be more confident. And then you're actually having thoughts that you are more confident because you're getting that feedback from others in your interaction and you know that you are acting confident. So then thoughts become really powerful and positive. This is such good stuff. So be sure to have a think about these. If you need to watch the video again or take any notes, then do so. I'll also be posting the tips to be more confident in our Facebook group. And then one last thing that you can do to make yourself learn to be more confident, so another confident aspect of your skill set, is to ask questions. So it gets the conversation going. So it means that you might be, say, leading a conversation, whereas perhaps in the past you didn't have the confidence to ask a question or lead a conversation. And you'll find that the more interactions you have, the better you'll feel and the more confident you'll feel, and you'll continue on a really positive cycle. So if you have any questions, then come through to us via the Facebook page or write a comment in this video. The challenge for this week is to write your 2 lists, what you're telling yourself you can't do and what you know you can do, and comparing those lists and actually challenging whether or not what you can't do is actually true. And if you have somebody who can support you, talk to that person, and if you trust them to give you honest feedback, show them the 2 lists, ask for their honest feedback and take that as evidence and use that as fuel to decide, okay, I know I can do these things, and that will give you the confidence to get started. So another thing you can do as well is actually practice using the confident behaviors we've just talked about, those tips, because we're learning to be confident. We're not born with it. So practice those behaviors as well and notice the differences that you get. So what we love is when you guys let us know about your successes, because that is why we're doing this. We're doing this to help you, and we're doing this to make people understand that actually they can feel happier, they can feel and be more confident. And we love, love, love hearing about your updates and what's worked really well. So please feel free to post in the group, send us a Facebook message. And also, if you know somebody who would benefit from any of our videos, including this one, then be sure to share it. We'd absolutely love for you to do that to help even more people. So as said before, we're going to do our next video in 2 weeks' time. In that next video, we're going to learn techniques of how to solve problems. So this is another new skill for you in order to really clear your mind and start learning and being happier and overcoming worry, anxious thoughts, low mood, low confidence, and all those types of feelings that we would rather not live with, and actually change them to become more helpful thoughts and live happier and healthier. Well, it's been absolutely brilliant seeing you guys today. Really looking forward to seeing you again in a couple of weeks' time. Be sure to say hi on the replay as well, and looking forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you. Bye.